and how it works in using Hindi and English on Twitter Spaces. We're also collaborating with Honghoti. We are another organization based in Assam. Assam is a state in the northeastern side of India, if you guys don't know. And we teach Bitcoin in Assamese as well. So here today we'll be obviously speaking English, and we'll be going through the slides on what Bitcoin is, how it relates to money, and some of the other things that you may already learn in your schools. So we'll just give an introduction of what Bitcoin is. We have Anurag and Pallav with us. Pallav will start the presentation, and we'll try to finish off everything within the 30 minutes time limit. Okay, Pallav, you can go ahead.
Okay, good morning everyone. आशा करता हूँ आप सब लोग ठीक हैं. संहति एंड देसी बिटकॉइन शो की तरफ से मैं पल्लव. I'm going to introduce I'm going to discuss the most advanced digital monetary system in the world, that is Bitcoin. So let's begin. Slide next. Before we start, बस कुछ बातें मैं क्लियर करना चाहता हूँ कि सबसे पहले तो जब हम बोलते हैं बिटकॉइन तो हम सिर्फ बिटकॉइन के बारे में ही बात करेंगे. बिटकॉइन इज नॉट क्रिप्टो. हम किसी भी दूसरे क्रिप्टो करेंसी के बारे में बात नहीं करेंगे. This presentation is sorry.
Try to keep it in English. Go ahead. No issues.
Okay, so this presentation is only for educational purposes. This is not a financial advice. We are not advising you guys to put your money onto something without knowing the basics and fundamentals of the matter. We don't trade or we don't suggest trading Bitcoin or any other assets, and we also do not encourage anyone to put your money as an investment in anything without learning the basics. That's it. That brings us to the first thing first. The next slide. So first thing first, आज हम बिटकॉइन को 3 different headings के साथ डिस्कस करने जा रहे हैं. First heading will be what is money and how it works, which is basically we are going to discuss about the history and evolution of money and something about its functionalities. The second heading will be about what is Bitcoin, mostly about the creation of Bitcoin and how it works. And the third heading will be about why we need Bitcoin. I mean, if we already have the Indian currency, if we already have the UPI system, then why do we even need the better money, and how Bitcoin is the only choice we have? That is what we are going to discuss today. So first topic, what is money and how it works? Since people have started doing businesses, जिस जमाने से लोगों ने बिजनेस करना शुरू किया उसी जमाने से people had 2 different ways of doing business. एक तो लोग बार्टर सिस्टम के जरिए बिजनेस करते थे, like exchanging goods for goods, और दूसरा है exchanging goods for money. पैसे के बदले में चीजें खरीदते हैं या बेचते हैं. ये 2 ही तरीका है बिजनेस करने का. तो पहला तरीका और दूसरा तरीका नाम का कोई ऐसा डिफरेंशिएट नहीं कर सकते, लेकिन दोनों ही तरीका ऑलमोस्ट एक सेम टाइम पे ही आया था और सेम टाइम पे ही एग्जिस्ट करते थे. जबकि in today's world we don't see much example of exchanging goods for goods like the barter system, and what we generally see is the traditional exchanging for money business model.
So I'll just add one point here, which is like exchanging goods for goods is something like you want 100 apples, so you give the other person 100 oranges or 100 bananas, and they give you the apples that you need. So there is no money involved. You need one thing, you give them some other thing that they need. So if they need X, you give them X. If you need Y, you take Y from them. So obviously you can imagine why it will be an issue and why we don't do that anymore. And in classrooms, you may do that. Maybe you have one pen and you need a pencil, so you give someone else your pen and get the pencil from them. So that system works at a small level, but when you are doing big businesses, big tradings, or exchanging things that are large, we have to use something called money. Okay.
Okay, so next slide. As Basant already mentioned about having apples as an example, and let's talk about apples. Suppose you have a lot of apples and you want to buy something, kind of something like a air conditioning or whatever. Then you will need to give the apple to somebody who has the air conditioning, or else you will need to give something that has the equal amount of value than with your apple, and then you can exchange those the third things for whatever you want, like the air conditioning. So that is how money works. So basically, money works for in three headings, three different kind of things that money can do. First is the store of value. Second is the medium of exchange. Third is the unit of account. As you can see in the slide, this is what exactly money is. So what is the store of value? Uh, as if we go back to the example of apples, suppose आपके हाथ में बहुत सारे apples है, and you need to buy an air conditioner, but not now. You need to buy it after 1 year. Then you cannot store the apples without without losing the value for 1 year and then exchange the apples for an air conditioner. ऐसा नहीं होता है, क्योंकि एप्पल्स खराब हो जाएंगे, उसकी वैल्यूज गिर जाएगी, और आपको जो एयर कंडीशनर चाहिए, हो सकता है मार्केट में वो एयर कंडीशनर जिसके पास है उनको एप्पल नहीं चाहिए होगा। तो इसीलिए आपको फ्यूचर में इस्तेमाल करने के लिए आपकी एप्पल्स की वैल्यू को किसी थर्ड चीज पे स्टोर करके रखना पड़ेगा, किसी ऐसा चीज रखना पड़ेगा जो आपकी एप्पल्स के वैल्यू को रिप्रेजेंट करता है, और वो थर्ड चीज ही होता है मनी। ये होता है स्टोर ऑफ वैल्यू। ये समय में विदाउट लूजिंग द वैल्यू ये किसी चीज की वैल्यू को स्टोर करके रख सकता है।
तो अगर if I give an example, let's say your father wants to buy a bike, right, or a bicycle for you. So he is saying once you pass 10th, once you go to college, he will give you one bicycle. So how does he actually give you the bicycle at that time? Let's say you are studying in 5th or 6th standard today, right? So he will work, he will provide value to someone. So he'll go to his office, he'll go to his work, he'll do his job, and then get some money, and that money goes into the future. He's not using it right now. He's not going to the place and saying, okay, I'll be working, give me something to eat, or something to feed my family. He's not doing that. He's getting some token, something in return of providing his value, providing work, storing it, and that stored value he will use in the future. So that's what store of value is. Basically, you work, and the fruit of your labor is stored for use in the future.
The second point is medium of exchange. Again, if we talk about the apple and the air conditioning thing example, money works as a medium of exchanging things for things. Like आप डायरेक्टली एप्पल्स के बदले में भी एयर कंडीशनर खरीद सकते हो, लेके आ सकते हो, लेकिन वो इतना रिलायबल नहीं होता है, इस तरह करना इतना आसान नहीं होता है। इट्स नॉट वेरी इजी टू एक्सचेंज वेरी बिग अमाउंट ऑफ एप्पल्स इन फॉर एन एयर कंडीशनर, क्योंकि डिफरेंट क्वालिटीज के एप्पल्स का वैल्यू डिफरेंट हो सकता है। द वैल्यू ऑफ एयर कंडीशनर मे बी डिफरेंट फॉर डिफरेंट ब्रांड्स, यू कैन नॉट रियली डू इट वेरी रिलायबली। So one way of reliably exchanging things is that using a third entity, that is a money. So money works as a medium of exchange, means money allows you to exchange something that you need for something you have excessively, and that's something you don't really have. And money works as a third party so that you don't need to bring the whole amount of apples to the market to get it exchanged for the air conditioner person.
Yeah, so it is for like immediate use. So store of value, you can think of it as something that you'll need in the future. So let's say you have a piggy bank at home, you are storing some coins, you'll use that in the future. That is store of value, also called the savings. So medium of exchange is something that you use immediately, right? You need a pencil, you go to the store, you give them 5 rupees, 10 rupees, and they give you the pencil or the pen or whatever you need. So medium of exchange is what you do currently using money right now. Store of value is in the future. And third point comes.
And the third point is the unit of account. Now, when exchanging the apples for an air conditioner, how would you know that how much apple of what quality or what size will you need to exchange for what brand of air conditioner or what kind of air conditioner? You need to measure the amount of value you are going to provide to get something in return. So regarding measuring the value, money works as a third entity, that kind of a scale that allows you to bring summarize that how much value you need to provide to the other person to get the things you need. So unit of account is basically a way of measuring your the amount of value you need to provide to the other person. So money works as a unit of account. That means money allows people to measure the value they have in their hands, or measure the value they will need to provide to the market in order to get the right thing in hand.
Yeah. So let's say something costs 10 rupees, right? A pack of chips. 10 rupees, you can easily understand that 10 rupees is not much. But the same thing, if someone releases a new pack of chips that costs you 10,000 rupees, you don't need to figure out like, is it costly, is it cheap? You can easily figure out it. Just because the number is big, 10,000, you can easily figure out that, okay, this is costly, I'm not going to buy it. So it's like a scale, right? Or it measuring tape. So you have 1 kilometer, you can just walk, let's say 500 meters or 1 kilometers from your home. Your school is 500 kilometers, 500 meters from your home. You can just walk or take an auto. But if it is like 10 kilometers, then you have to take the bus because otherwise you cannot, well, it will take too much time. So that's like how you measure the distance, right? Using kilometers and meters and centimeters and millimeters, or how you measure weight using kilos and grams. Similarly, you measure how much value I'm getting out of it. So how useful it is to me using money. So that's why it is called the unit of account.
Then, if we see in the history, not just the Indian rupee or the US dollar is the only money we had. Actually, people in history, in time, had used many different kinds of things as money, as a medium of exchange, as a unit of account, or as a store of value. Here we can see many different examples of monies throughout history. First of all is the cowrie shells. Cowrie shells is basically a kind of little creature lives in the sea or the ocean, and their shells were actually used as a money in the history for many decades. So people used cowrie shells because they were not really common in the beach. They were a little rare and they were common in one particular size. So it was easy to exchange things, exchange value with using the cowrie shells. So cowrie shells was one kind of particular money. Then for a very long time, people also used kettles for exchanging things. Kettles as a third entity, like kettles as money, we can say. By kettles, I mean not just cow, but goats, like sheep, many other animals. Basically, kettles were used as money. So from here, we can see that even living things like animals can be a money, or even a dead thing like a cowrie shell can be money. Then there's the third example, ancient Chinese leather money, where ancient Chinese leather money was basically a piece of leather where it was used as a bank note. I mean, kind of a bank note. It was not like a modern bank note, but it was ancient. Most probably in the Chinese Han Dynasty, they used the ancient leather Chinese money. Fourth is that Gupta Dynasty gold coins. Now, you guys most probably know, you guys most probably have studied about Gupta Dynasty in India. Samudra Gupta has introduced the gold coins of Gupta Dynasty in India for the first time. Fifth example was the rice stone. Now, rice stone is not a gold, it's not an animal, it's not a dead creature, it is just a piece of rock. It was a stone. So, rice stone was used as a money, and rice stone were actually very different kind of money and actually very interesting kind of money. And I suggest you guys to search in the Google and explore about the rice stone because it was very interesting. So rice stone was once a money used in a particular island in the Western American continent. And then there are British Indian brass coins introduced by the British Church, the East India Company, the King of England. And British Indian brass coins were kind of actually modified, an attempt to replace the gold coins previously used by the Indian kings and Indian kingdoms. Then we can see the Indian 10 rupee note, which is currently in circulation. You guys already know about it. And the last example of money is the Bitcoin, which is the most advanced and digital money exists in today's era. So why I have put Bitcoin in the money list of money example of money? Because it is not something different than money. It is basically a modern and modified version of money, which is supposed to be way better than the traditional one. Next slide. So here you can see some differences about fiat money and commodity money. So money as we have seen in the previous example, the previous slide, there are different kinds of money, and not all kinds of money are similar to the others. There were some commodity monies like the gold, like the brass, and there were some fiat money like the Indian rupee. Now, what is the difference of fiat money and commodity money? So basically,
So
fiat
before
money is
that,
yeah.
explain the meaning of the word fiat. So fiat basically means anything that is issued by the government. So if the government says something to be something, then that something is called fiat because the government said so. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, fiat means something that has been money because the government has said so. As we can see in the differences mentioned below, fiat money could be made of anything. Like it could be paper, it could be metal, it could be plastic, it could be digital, something like a digital note, something, anything. It could be anything. But commodity money is not made of anything. It is made of some useful things like the gold, like the silver. These kind of metals are really useful and rare in our nature. They are really valuable for us, and that's why people and society has made these metals as their money. These are called commodity money. The second is the government creates and runs fiat money, as Basanta said already. So fiat money is government money, and the commodity money is basically money that society has created and runs through the time. So fiat money is governed by the government, and society commodity money is governed by the society. So as we can see, the gold money or the silver coins in the history. Yeah, of course, the kings have introduced the gold money to his kingdom, but the gold was already present in the people's hand, and people already use gold as money even before Samudragupta introduced the gold coins in the Gupta dynasty. So that was the difference between government fiat money and or commodity money. Then the other differences are like paper notes and coins we use every day are fiat money, as I already mentioned, and gold, silver, Bitcoin are commodity money. Basanta, I think the presentation is not here.
Is it?
Slide is not on the screen.
Okay, one second. My voice is clear, right?
Yeah, voice is clear. Okay, I'm sorry guys, there has been something technical problem, I think.
Can you hear me, guys? Pallav, you can go ahead. Yeah, your mic is muted.
Okay, so as we already said, paper notes and coins we use every day are the fiat money, and gold, silver, Bitcoin are commodity money. So as I have specially mentioned Bitcoin in the commodity money, please note that point. Bitcoin is not like the money we are using today. It's something a little similar to the money our ancestors used in history, and it is something uh, kind of a more advanced at the same time. So the last point here comes the value of fiat money is decided by the government and not backed by anything, while the value of commodity money is decided by the market and backed by the material it is made of. So when the value of fiat money decided by government, we can see the example of 2016 demonetization. Just Prime
I
Minister
don't know
Modi
how
said that.
old they were. I think most of the kids here are high schoolers, right? So it was about how many years? 6 years ago?
Yeah, 7 6 years.
Yeah. So 7 years ago, maybe. So if you don't remember it, then I'll just remind you that uh, we had old notes, 500 rupee, 1000 rupee notes that government just announced one day, one night that it will not be used from tomorrow. So all the people are just running to the ATMs to deposit their cash and yeah, to exchange the old notes for the new notes. So, yeah, if you don't remember it, just ask someone what happened in 2016.
Yeah, what happened in 2016? So it was called demonetization, when government suddenly decided that the old 100,000 rupee note and the 500 rupee notes will not be in circulation anymore. People will have to deposit them in the bank, and then new 500 and 2,000 rupee note will be allowed. So this was a prime example of how the value of fiat money is decided by the government and not backed by anything, because the government just prints money, more money, and then declares those piece of paper as money by making a law, and overnight it becomes a new money. But the commodity money is not like that. The value of commodity money is decided by the market and backed by the material it is made of. For example, we can say about the gold. What is the value of a gold coin? The value of a gold coin is basically the same value that the market is willing to give it. If people decides that the value of gold will be go high, gold is a very valuable thing, then the value of gold coins, the gold money, will also go high. But if people decides that no, we won't use the gold anymore, we won't use gold anymore, so gold's price should be down. The price of gold coins, price of gold money will go down. That is how the value of commodity money is decided by the market, and it is backed by the material it is made of. That means if the use case of gold became obsolete, then the money made out of gold, that is the gold money, will be obsolete.
So it's like, let's say India decides that we'll be using gold coins from today, right? So instead of using these paper notes, we'll be using gold coins and silver coins. But if, even without doing that, gold and silver are already valuable things. So people have already decided, even though the government has not made them as money, people are already using them as store of value, right? If you have gold, 10 years from now, you can sell that gold and buy some other stuff. So it already is working as store of value, one of the forms of money. So yeah, commodity money is something that does not need the government to function. It works on its own, and the people of society, everyone comes together and decides that this thing will be a commodity. This commodity will be a kind of money.
So as we
We
are
had to be a
discussing
little bit
about
faster actually.
yeah, as we are discussing about fiat money and commodity money, so the question arises that who creates the fiat money? Now, the fiat money for the whole world is being created by the United States Federal Reserve System. And the Federal Reserve System of United States is basically a central authorized bank. It's a private bank, but it is a central bank. It's a chain of a banking system. So this system called Federal Reserve prints the money, the fiat money for the United States, which is the US dollar, and this US dollar is basically used in the whole international transactions, international businesses. So that is why we can say that the Federal Reserve of United States is creating the fiat money for the world. Now,
So
US
I'll
dollar
just
is
add
the
one point
money.
there.
Yeah.
So if India wants to buy rice from Sri Lanka, they will be India has to pay them in US dollar most of the time. So same with Bangladesh or Nepal or any other country. If you want to buy some stuff from there or you want to sell some stuff, then mostly it is US dollar is used. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, US dollar is the money used in all international transaction, businesses, etc. As you can see in the slide you already mentioned, and all the other countries in the world, the democratic countries, they create their money based on how much US dollar they have. Now, this is the point, because the system of creating fiat money is called the fiat standard. We have not discussed it about it in this slide, but in the fiat standard, basically what happens is that US creates their own currency, the US dollar, then distributes the currency to the whole world through international transaction, international businesses, and the democratic countries, all these other countries, including India, creates its own fiat currency based on how much US dollar they have in their deposit. So on behalf of Indian government, the Reserve Bank of India creates the money for India, that is the INR. And Indian rupee is also a fiat money, as I mentioned earlier, because it is based on the US dollar, how much US dollar the Indian government has. That is not the only parameter to create Indian rupee, but that is a major, important aspect of important parameter to create the Indian rupee, print the Indian money. So Indian rupee is a fiat money like the US dollar, and the government of India can create or destroy as much INR as they want. That is exactly what happened in 2016, as we earlier discussed about. You guys can search it on the Google about demonetization 2016. What happened in 2016? So 2016 was the year when Indian government showed showed to the whole people of India that they can actually create or destroy as much INR as they want, because it's a fiat money, and that is the most that's the biggest disadvantage of fiat money, that the government can do anything with it. Yeah, so the next slide. And as we are discussing about fiat money and commodity money, we have mentioned many things about the disadvantages of fiat money. Now the question is, what makes a good money? There is a term called sound money. Sound money doesn't mean a money of the sound system or something like that. Sound money means a good money. So according to the Greek philosopher Aristotle, I think you guys have already, you guys already know about Greek philosophers, and especially about Aristotle. So according to Greek philosopher Aristotle, a sound money is durable, portable, divisible, scarce, fungible, and costly. These six qualities a sound money must have according to the Greek philosopher Aristotle. Durable means a good money or a sound money must exist in the harsh conditions or the harsh period of time. Money that does not get destroyed by the problems around the society. And portable means a money that you can bring from your home to the market without any problem, without much problem actually. You can bring them to the store in your pocket, or you can make transaction easily. The third point is divisible. Divisible means you can actually divide the money, one unit of money, into further little units of money. Like, for example, we can divide the 1 Indian rupee into 100 Indian paisa. So paisa is basically one little amount, a little unit of the Indian rupee. That is the quality of Indian rupee, which is divisible. The divisible is a quality of a good money or a sound money. The fourth point is scarce. Now, scarce means shortage of supply. That means a good money must be a little short in supply all the time. You should not get the money easily from anywhere or by any means. So scarce means shortage of supply, and that is also a very important quality or important aspect of a good money. Fifth point is fungible. Fungible means one kind of particular money, if has to be a good money, you must be able to exchange the money with another money without any problem. Like, for example, the 10 rupee notes you have on your pocket and the 10 rupee notes I have on my pocket, both must have the same value, and both should be exchangeable with each other. Like, if I give you two 5 rupee coins for one 10 rupee note, or 10 1 rupee coins for one 10 rupee note, or one 10 rupee note which is in a little damaged condition, or not damaged, a little harsh condition, but you should always be okay with the transaction. The value of one 10 rupee note printed today and the value of one 10 rupee note printed 1 year ago should be the same. This is what called fungibility. We should be able to exchange the 10 rupee note with another 10 rupee note, or even small units of the same money, without any problem. And the sixth point is costly, which is kind of strange, but it is true that to be a good money, the process of creating the money should be costly. And by costly, I mean it should consume a lot of time, or maybe a lot of energy, or maybe a lot of work, or maybe a lot of money. It should be costly. हिंदी में बोले तो महंगा होना पड़ता है. So that brings us the six qualities of a good money. Yeah.
We have like 10 minutes to go through the other slides. So we can skip a little bit, then go to Bitcoin further. I'll just summarize this. Just like you have seen, it's not paper. It can be physical. It can be in a physical form or it can be digital. So, like you have in bank account, that is also fiat money. There is no difference between 10 rupee note that you have in your pocket, but and the 10 rupee that you have in your bank account. Both are equivalent things, right? So, so what is Bitcoin? And Pallav will take care from here.
So what is Bitcoin? And we are going to discuss about creation of Bitcoin and how it works. So in 2008, a character called Satoshi Nakamoto created Bitcoin. Now Satoshi Nakamoto is not just one person, or we don't exactly know how much people are called Satoshi Nakamoto. But Satoshi Nakamoto is actually a pseudonym of the people who created Bitcoin. With Bitcoin, Satoshi wanted to create a peer-to-peer electronic cash system for the people of the whole world. Like his idea was that there should be an money, a digital money, and internet money that do not require the authority of a third entity. Like you can directly give me the money, or I can directly give you the money, but in the internet without accessing a bank or without having to open an account with a financial institution. That is what his idea was. So it is called peer-to-peer. And Bitcoin is made of some computer nodes and mathematical equations. The maximum number of Bitcoin that can exist is 21 million, 2 crore 10 lakhs. As I have said earlier, a Bitcoin is made of some computer nodes and mathematical equation. And that mathematical equation allows the Bitcoin to exist within the limit of 21 million. You cannot make more than 21 million Bitcoins. Nobody can make. So each Bitcoin is further divided into 100 million or 10 crore small units called sets. Now, sets is actually an acronym for the word Satoshi. I mean, the Satoshi Nakamoto himself, his name. And as an example, you can say that if one Bitcoin is 1 rupee, then one set is like 1 paisa. It is basically a smaller unit of 1 Bitcoin. Because as a good money, Bitcoin must be divisible. So we can divide Bitcoin into 100 million small units, which are called sets. And Bitcoin is the money in the world that has an absolutely limited supply. We can say, as we have seen before, the Bitcoin is basically a mathematical equation works in the Bitcoin, and that equation allows Bitcoin to exist within the bracket of 21 million. So it has an absolutely limited supply. Yeah.
I think I'll take over from here. I'll finish off within 5 minutes. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
So, like, we don't know how much Indian rupee is out there, right? Banks have some amount. You have something in your bank. I mean, in your home, some notes you have in your pocket, but we don't know how much actual rupee is out there. But for Bitcoin, we know it is always going to be 2 crore 10 lakh Bitcoin, and one Bitcoin is always going to be 10 crore sats. So, Bitcoin is a decentralized money. If you guys have ever used BitTorrent, then you will know that it is a decentralized system. You're not downloading files from a browser, I mean, a server, right? You're not going to Netflix and downloading the files, but you're just downloading from other people on the network. So, it is created by such a network. Many people have the Bitcoin computers running Bitcoin. There are two kinds of software you can run called nodes and miners. So again, I'll not go into details of how nodes and miners work, but you can basically run two kinds of Bitcoin code. One is for keeping track of who paid how much to whom, and another is for uh, continuing the transactions actually. So there is no head office, there is no central authority. It is not a company. You cannot call anyone and say my Bitcoin got stolen. What should I do? It's not like that. Just like gold or silver, right? These are physical metals, but it's not owned by anyone. It's not created by anyone. It is created by nature. So similarly, Bitcoin is created by the computer network. So whoever is running the code, they're just running it. So it's not controlled by a government, bank, company, organization, nothing. Just a bunch of people from the.
Basanta, your mic is probably off. Basanta, can you hear me? Okay, sorry guys, something just went wrong, I think. Basanta, I can't hear you. Here we can see the presentation.
My voice is coming now.
Yeah, clear.
Okay. So because Bitcoin is open source means anyone can see the code. People are in the network, people are running the code, right? Bitcoin, everyone is running Bitcoin code. Not everyone, but whoever wants to run, they can run the Bitcoin code in their laptop, in their phone, in their computer, different kinds of code. But you can check the code and see that, okay, this is actually what's going on. With rupee, how much rupee is being printed, with dollars, how much dollar is being printed, you can't know. So you don't know if the government printed, let's say, 10 crore rupees and gave it to someone. You will never know that. But with Bitcoin, you always know who has how much. And Bitcoin has never been hacked, unlike your Instagram or Facebook accounts. So why do we need Bitcoin when we already have rupee or UPI? Right? Probably you have already used UPI in your life. Probably made payments from one phone to another. So compared to Bitcoin, fiat money and Bitcoin, again we have already discussed these things. I'll just give a brief of about it. So Bitcoin is something that is neutral. We use the Indian rupee because it is decided by uh, the government, right? The Indian government says we have to use the Indian rupees, so we use it. The United States, their government say they we have to use the dollar, US dollar, and they use the US dollar. With Bitcoin, no one is forcing you to use it, but you can use it to send payments from one country to another, one person to another, and no one is going to steal your Bitcoin. No one can duplicate Bitcoin, and it is something that we should always study because it is something that's going to change the world in the future. So just like when I was growing up, right, we had PCOs and telephones. I'm not that old, I'm 24 years old. So just like 10, 15 years ago, till 10, 15 years ago, we had telephones and PCOs in places. But now everyone has smartphones and mobile phones and Geo 4G and even 5G in cities. So we don't even need a TV anymore. So things changed a lot. And those who did not accept those changes, they got left behind. So Bitcoin is something that is going to change. It's like going to become a part of our lives in the future. So we'll encourage you to learn about it as always. So I'll skip a few slides. And one just thing, last thing is that if you could buy, let's say my one haircut used to cost me 10 rupees when I was young. Now it costs me 70 rupees. So with fiat money, your value, like the value of the currency keeps falling down. The prices of things that you can purchase, they keep going up. If something costed 10 rupees previously, now it will cost 15 rupees. Or the same 10 rupee will buy you one pack of chips, but there will be less chips. So that does not happen with Bitcoin. You can learn about it. So again, this is one US dollar to INR. So US dollar already has fallen that much, and compared, if you compare that to INR, INR has also fallen a lot in value. So we'll share it with you the slides so you can go through them. So you can see the price of Bitcoin going up. That actually you can think of it as the store of value being correct or being proper in this manner. So if you had 10 Bitcoin earlier, you could buy less stuff, but now you can buy more stuff. So this opposite to fiat money. Okay, so this is the return. You can check. There has been a lot of return in the last 10 years. It has been up 200,000%. So that means if you invested in Bitcoin, you'd have saved a lot of your money. Okay, so I'll skip a few slides, and there are some resources, right? We have one YouTube channel called Bitcoin Sikho. We have one, he's one of our people that joined the Desi Bitcoin show. If you use Twitter, you can go to Desi Bitcoin show and come to our spaces. We host it live. or you can read any of these three books: the Bitcoin Handbook, the Little Bitcoin Book, the Bitcoin Standard. Again, we will share with you the slides so you can just search about them on Google, download the PDF version, and read them. I'll again at the end of the session, I will again encourage you guys all to just learn about Bitcoin. Don't randomly ask your parents to buy Bitcoin for you, or to get into try to get into trading, but try to understand what it is, how it works, and yeah. So learn about Bitcoin. Thank you.
Thank you, Premanand. Thank you, Sri Medha School. Thank you very much for hosting us. We hope to come back to you again with a lot more enriching sessions such as this. Once again, Premanand, thank you very much. Thank you, team.